If you or someone you know has diabetes, you may have built up an extra supply of test strips and lancets. That's where we come in. We'll buy the supplies that you don't need and resell them to those in need to prevent waste. Help us make diabetes management more affordable. Visit us at teststripswithaz.com.
All right, got Miles Johns back on the show, joining me from my parents' kitchen, of all places, coming off his big win at UFC Vancouver. He is on the board in the UFC. He defeated Cole Smith on Saturday. How's it going, Miles?
Man, it's going great. Feeling good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. First UFC fight, first UFC win. How does it all feel?
It feels good, man. You know, I'm taking it all in. I'm so happy to get that win under my belt and just, like you said, be on the board and be able to start making some moves in the UFC, you know. So I'm taking it in, but man, I'm ready to get back in there. You know, I'm ready to start getting some more wins under my belt for sure.
You were excited for this Cole Smith fight. He's the guy that was on the top of your list to fight. Thought it would be a great matchup for you. It would be a tough fight stylistically. Did that deliver in terms of what you expected? Because the first round was a really interesting round. He used his length. He used a lot of different things. I thought you stole the momentum of the fight in the second round, probably in the latter half of the second round. But how did the fight go did everything kind of go as expected?
Honestly, I was a little bit surprised in his game plan. I knew he was a good wrestler and I knew he liked to grapple, but I didn't really expect his entire game plan to be wrestling and grappling. You know, I thought he was going to use his length and use his long legs to kind of kick me and keep me away. And then when I was trying to pressure in, I thought that's when he'd be shooting for the shots and stuff. I thought he'd be looking for some knees and things like that. So we were working a lot of timing and level changing and faking to get inside on him. So when he started diving for the legs right away, it did kind of take me by surprise. I would just say that his cage pressure was pretty good. You know, he really used his length and his legs to keep me up against the cage, and I was having a hard time getting my underhooks in that. But it was a fun experience, man. I really loved the third round when I was able to just let my hands go and go for it. I felt like I had plenty of gas in the tank, which let me know maybe I was even a little bit there could have been a little bit more urgency throughout the fight. It kind of flew by. I told my coach in the corner, I was like, this fight's flying by. Like, he's like, yeah, you need to go. I was like, yeah, I do. All right, let's go. And in the second, like you said, I think the momentum did change. I threw that takedown in there just to let the judges and everybody know that if I wanted to wrestle and bring it to the ground that I could, since he wasn't able to really get a clean shot on me. He was just kind of holding me and trying to get me down the whole time. So it was a different experience. It was somewhat what we expected. We did practice a lot again off the cage and wrestling, but I was taken by surprise that was his entire game plan.
I know you can look at it on paper and see his height and everything. Was he bigger once you saw him in person than you expected him to be?
He was tall. He has long legs. Surprisingly, we have the same arm reach, or his was like an inch longer than mine, but his legs were just really long. That's why when he was on my back, he was able to put a different hold in than I'm used to. You know, I thought he was going to gas his legs out, just riding on and squeezing like that, but he was able to kind of cross them over and take some of the pressure off of him. So yeah, he was long, strength-wise and stuff. I mean, I'm training with these really big featherweights that are almost that height. So strength-wise, I felt like he wasn't. I felt like I had the strength advantage, but he was definitely long.
Watching it on television is one thing. Being in the cage and actually being in a fight is another. When did you feel like the momentum of the fight changed?
I felt in the second round it was changing. I got that takedown, and I realized that I could take him down and be on top of him and land some shots if I wanted. But the momentum definitely really, really changed in the third. I pretty much just wrapped my head around this switch of game plans a little bit and decided, like, okay, there's no more just like waiting to see anything. It's time to just go and start fighting. And once I did and let my hands go, I started having a lot of fun, and I started clipping him. And I think he was definitely tired, but I think each shot I landed was hurting him. So yeah, it was kind of a learning lesson watching it back on TV, man. There's so many things that I still want to fix. And I say it almost every time, but I still feel like I have not fought even close to my potential. That fight really just made me itch to get in there even more. So yeah, it was a fun fight, a good experience. I'm happy with that win. He had a good game plan for my style, I guess. I thought he was gonna try to stand up a little bit more in front of his hometown crowd, and I was expecting a fight that would get a bonus, just a war. and it was a little bit different than that. So I'm excited to get in there again and get with somebody that I can't just let my hands go and they'll do the same. You know, I'm here to win fights and make some money, but I'm also here to put on exciting fights for the fans. You know what I mean? So I want to showcase my skills from the feet and give the fans what they want for sure.
You fought on some big stages heading into this fight, LFA, of course, the fight on the Contender Series. But most fighters will tell you some have different experiences with their first UFC fight. What was it like for you? Did it feel different? You know, being in a UFC Octagon, did it feel different than any other fight?
Absolutely. I mean, it's got to be different. You know, the whole process is a whole different process. And man, that stadium was really, they were going for the Cole train. I could hear Cole train, Cole, and then Cole's gonna kick your butt. Cole's gonna kick your butt. Like when we were standing out there about to walk, and me and my coach were just like, just breathe, just relax. I felt more relaxed than I really have felt ever for any fight. I enjoyed the walkout. I enjoyed the whole process, man. So I felt relaxed, and I felt like everything I've been through up to this point prepared me for the moment and prepared me for the pressure. But it was definitely a different experience than I've ever had. So it was fun.
What was the conversation like in the corner between the second and third rounds? Because, you know, the first round was clear. The third round was clear. Second round was the really close round. What was that conversation like in the corner heading into the final round?
It was relaxed. Me and my coach were both pretty relaxed, but it was like, let's go. Like, this fight is on the line right now and you need to go get it. He said it pretty monotone, pretty easy. Like, you got to go get it. And I was like, yeah, fight's flying by. Let's go get it. He's like, yeah, I might need to finish. Like, go out there and try to finish him. And it was just, we knew what we had to do. You know, by that time we've seen what he was trying to go for and what we knew that he didn't want to stand and trade. So we just knew what we had to do. And we went out there and did it, man. And that's pretty much it. I felt I could have even done a little bit more in the third. Like looking back and watching on TV, I got to see how much those hits were affecting him. You know, so I could have even piled on a little bit more volume. But you live and you learn. You know.
As you're waiting for the decision to be read, Bruce Buffer looking dapper in that tuxedo. You and Cole are standing next to each other with the referee. What were those moments like? Because it was such a close fight. Did you feel like, one, that you had done enough to win? And two, what were those moments like? Were you nervous that the decision could go the other way?
I did feel like I had done enough to win. It's crazy, but I felt like the momentum even changed in the arena. You know, I felt like the crowd was even a little bit on my side towards the end of it. And I felt like the third round was enough. But there was something Bruce kind of messed up reading the cards and stuff. So he saw my face. I was kind of looking like I was really just trying to listen to what he said and hear what judges scored it which way. But I was expecting to get my hand raised. You know, it's a fight game. I've seen robberies before and stuff. So if I would have lost because it would have been in Canada, you know, and it would have been swayed one way, I would have had to take that on the chin, man. And that would have been a huge mistake on my part. But I knew I did enough to win the fight, and so I was expecting my name to be called.
What did you do to celebrate the victory?
I ate some pizza and hung out with my family. There was a good pizza place right down from my family actually got an Airbnb that I went to after the fight just downtown. You could see Rogers Arena from it. It was a pretty gorgeous view from the patio and stuff, like 30th floor. So we just got some pizza, talked about the fight, man, talked about what's next, and just hung out, man, you know.
Uriah Hall also got a win on the card, one of your teammates, which was more or less discovered in the build up to the fight that he was training at Fortis MMA. And to me, Uriah is one of the most misunderstood guys in the sport. Like, he has a little beef with the media. I just think he's a misunderstood guy. You got to dig a little deeper with a guy like Uriah. You can't just ask him basic questions. You need to dig a little deeper and talk about other things. Do you feel like he's the most misunderstood guy in MMA right now?
I mean, it's hard to say the most in MMA, but he's very misunderstood, man. This dude is as humble as they come, as caring as they come, man. You know, he played his role perfectly. Like, he's a new teammate. We went through camp together. I mean, when you go through camp with somebody like that and you're fighting on the same night, like, you go through the struggles together, man. The weight cut, the whole struggles at the camp, everything. You know, you're kind of on the same routine as that person. So we went through that together, and he just kind of guided me when I didn't even know that I needed help, you know. And it was a fun experience, man. And yeah, he's just a humble, super, super nice, super caring dude. So whatever his beef is with the media, that doesn't really make sense to me, because he's just a fighter through and through and has a great heart. And he has a lot of passion for the game, and it was fun watching him and seeing how he does things.
How beneficial was that for you? Because, if this card happened 6 months ago, he may not have been your teammate getting ready for a fight. So you might have been in there with Safe and the rest of the team. But to have a veteran fighter, a guy who's on the Ultimate Fighter, a guy that's been in there with some of the biggest names in the sport at this point.
With the champ right now. He's been in there with Robert Whittaker.
Yeah.
Like he's fought the best of the best. It's so beneficial, man. I'm so grateful for that. Like these guys who are up there, I've been with Fortis and I've been with Safe since like the beginning. I laid the mats down in Fortis. Me and Safe were together at Octagon. I knew about Fortis a year before it even opened, and some of these guys are coming in new, but I'm still looking up to these guys. I'm watching the things they do. I'm watching how they act, how they maneuver, their mindset, just everything, man. And I'm so grateful to have them around and learning from him, Jeff Neal. There's just too many to count. Damon Jackson, he's not in the UFC anymore, but man, this dude is a vet. He's a straight gangster, man. He's been through ups and downs. I was with him in his last fight. He was ready for that fight. If it would have went 3 rounds, he could easily. I think he would have won that fight. So we've seen some crazy stuff, man, with these guys, and the fight game is crazy. And I'm just so grateful to be able to sit back and watch these OGs work and watch how they do it. And I feel like I have years more of experience than I do already just from watching and learning these guys. So learning from them, and I don't always tell them that stuff. We're fighters. We don't get too sentimental with each other. We do our job, and that's about it. But I'm real grateful to have them around.
In terms of what's next for you, do you want to try to get another one in this year? You want to smell the rose for a little bit? You had 2 pretty important fights in a 2.5 month, 3 month span. Do you want to sort of take a little breather for yourself, get better in the gym, and then get back in maybe end of the year, beginning of 2020? Or are you just ready to go and get right back at it?
Before going into this fight, I thought I'd be like, man, I'm definitely probably gonna just chill until after January and come back at the beginning of the year. But right after, I was like, man, January is still 4 months away. I think we could fit one in before then. So I'm just I'm leaving that to my coach. I'm not exactly sure what's next. Bantamweight division is buzzing right now, of course. So I'm just gonna leave it to my coach. I'm just gonna get back to training as soon as I can. I'm already back to eating good. Shout out Fit Meals Prep. They're still taking care of me. I'm going to go see my man, Dr. Mann. He's going to hook me up, make sure my hand's good, make sure my body's all good. And then we're going to get back to work, man. I'm ready to get back in there. Throughout my whole career, I've had some long layoffs and stuff. It's been a long road here. So I feel like it's right for us to get here and start blasting out some fights. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what Sean says. We'll see what my coach says, and we'll just go from there.
You are Mystic Miles after all. You're 1 for 1 with your picks. You had mentioned Mario Batista the last time we had spoke. There are a couple of other bantamweight fights on this card. Hunter Azure got a big win. Louis Smolka had a huge win, a huge knockout to start off the card. What makes sense to you right now? I know you did mention Batista. Is he still sort of the guy, or is there somebody else you have in mind?
I'm gonna leave that up to my coach. I just love the way Batista fought. He just showed that Mexican grit in the 3rd round and went out and stole the fight, similar to my fight. So I thought that'd be an exciting fight. But I'm gonna leave it to my coach and Sean Shelby. I trust them to make exciting fights. That's what I'm looking for, man. I'm looking for longevity in this game. I want fans to want to see me fight. Every time I step in the cage, the work is done, and I'm ready to just go in there and lay it all on the line. So I'm ready for that to really show in the cage and show what I'm really made of. So we'll see what happens, man. There's lots of guys in the division, and I'm just going to get ready and see what comes my way.
You're just getting started right now. You're 10-0. There's a lot of potential, a lot of eyes upon you, a lot of excitement when it comes to you. Let's just say September of 2020, we're having the same conversation. Where do you think you're at in the bantamweight division?
Man, I think I'm top 15, or I'm sniffing that. Maybe I'm in Jeff Neal's position. He just won that last fight. He's like top 15 one week, not the other week. It's like the rankings change so often. It's hard to say I'll be locked into top 15, but I'm up there. But next year at this time, I hope I've got 2 or 3 more wins. I need my knockout, man. I had a full championship fight, and then a full contender series fight, and then a full 3-rounder for my UFC debut. Like, man, I'm ready. I'm hungry for a knockout or something. So hopefully I get some finishes in there, maybe a bonus, and we're talking a number next to the name.
Miles Johns, everybody, coming off his UFC debut win over Cole Smith at UFC Vancouver on Saturday. Congratulations. Before we let you go, man, any shout outs, anything else you want to get off your chest? Shout out your social media. Floor is yours, man.
Yeah, guys, just get me on Instagram, Miles X Johns, and you'll see everything there. Shout out my team, Fortis MMA, and my coach, Safe Side. We couldn't do it without my team. I couldn't do it without my team, and we couldn't do it without our coach. So that's it, man. We're coming. Shout out to my boy Ocho, fighting next weekend in Mexico City.
That's right.
He's going to get this dub. His back's up against the wall, and he's ready to go. And then Macy is fighting the next weekend in Copenhagen. So we got some more guys and girls going up. So check us out, Fortis MMA.
Thank you, Miles. Congratulations again on the win, and we'll see you back hopefully by the end of the year.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the time.